Hi, it's 12:12 on the 12th of December, Thursday, the 12th of December. And I'm making this video today in response really to a video that I made in 2017. I love Facebook for this because it brings up our memories. And as I always say on my videos, my blog and everything about it is primarily for me, for my own teaching tool. So when I look back at where I was and what I was doing, and I've been on Facebook quite a long time, 2008 I think, so I've actually got memories on there from 2010 popping up today, or before that even. But specifically 2010 is the one that I really want to talk about. But I'll come back to that in a moment. Full moon blessings to you. We had the full moon in Gemini this morning in the UK at 5 a.m-ish. And so we're still in this full moon energy for, people say, around 3 days. So it's a very powerful time of being in the heart of relationship and really connecting to where we are in relationship, how are we relating to ourselves, and therefore how are we relating to everybody else. I have a lot of Gemini in my chart. My parents, both Geminis. My dad is no longer on this plane, and so thinking about him today as well, and how he influenced my life. And his father was also a Gemini. So again, once you start to map your code, your cosmic code and your family constellation, we can see more about our bigger picture and how we have come to be where we are based on these cosmic codes. And today I felt to wear this hat. So I haven't worn this for a long time now, and it's just working intuitively with that as well. I try to wear the colours of the day. So it's a red day today. It's Red Planetary Skywalker. And here we are. Red Planetary Skywalker, yet another portal day in the 13-day process of yellow seed, which is revealing the star seed, letting go of the ego, protection mechanisms, and just noticing what sort of a seed we are as well. How do we initiate? How do we open? Seeds generally have lots of different ways of beginning their process. Some take a very long time to do that. Some have to be in the fridge. Some go through a trial of fire. You know, forest fires, whilst they can be extremely damaging, also can set off a whole new level of life. And some have to be eaten up and shat out, literally, in order to be spread far and wide by the animals that eat them. And it's just noticing for ourselves, it's all about I on one level. This is what we come here for, an expression of the divine in a particular framework, in a Mayan galactic signature, to be part of this bigger picture cycle of the matrix and where we are in human evolution on the planet at this time in 2019, which is a really, really amazing time to be alive. It's also a very challenging time to be alive. We have everything here to seed us to create a new way of being. In terms of the 13 moon calendar, we are on red overtone moon day 28. So we're on the last day of mastery of the moon, emotional shifting, authenticity, allowing our God and Goddess self to be embodied now more and more as we let go of these old stories of wounding. And I can really feel that shift happening experientially on every level in my world around where I am now and where I want to be. And when I watch the old videos, when I watch the old memories, the old posts, I'm going to share one as well on my timeline that I made in 2017 when I just come back from Ireland and an amazing trip of being with amazing stones and people and reconnecting to lots of new information from sacred sites on the land. So this is another really powerful way to engage with code. And a lot of what I was saying on that video, again, it just amazes me at times, you know, these videos that I make of what comes out at the time and watching myself as well, accessing information from source rather than from my head. Again, this is a new learning that's coming in at this time. It's balancing our heart, balancing our mind so that they become as one. Red Planetary Skywalker is all about seeing what we are manifest now as the human being who is the conduit between heaven and earth, is the Quetzalcoatl, is the human being who is doing the Buddha process, doing the clearing process, doing the healing process, and knowing that we are here to co-create with the divine. We are the divine manifest in a human being vehicle in order to consciously create at this time by healing all our unconscious choices as well, most of which haven't manifested in a great way, shall we say, for want of a better word. Doesn't feel good, a lot of things on planet Earth at this time, and that is the key. It's how it makes us feel. This is where the heart wisdom comes in. When we're feeling joy, when we're feeling love, then no pain body activation is going on one level. On another level, we're in an environment where we feel at peace, safe, flowing energy, and all of that is mastery of the human being process. So again, each one of these days works on a spiral. And so when you get your Facebook memory coming up, you will see how you have shifted and evolved. And often to begin that process, I know when I began this process in 2007, there were a lot of shifts going on for me back then, a lot of things that I really did not like as a human being, and having to go through that tunnel. So if you're in that space now, what I want to offer you is you're unraveling, you're letting go of old ways that do not serve you, and take heart and have courage, because this is the start of an amazing process for you. We all have to go through this process now. It's part of the big change on planet Earth to bring us back into alignment with the natural cycles, with our knowingness, with remembering who we really are, and letting go of all these conditioned mindsets that have taken us so far away from truth. On a personal level, if you are experiencing huge breakdown in your structure right now, Google emotional freedom technique, check it out. It works. It will help you cope with this process. It's been a life-saving tool for me. It's a cutting edge, amazing therapy, and it's just starting to really be known in the UK after a very long time of process. So again, often we seek these alternative processes when we're at our wits' end, when we're willing to try anything. Again, this is the seed process breaking us down so that we open to new ways, new methodologies. So do your research, check it out, give it a go. It's empowering. You can do it for yourself. It will help you through this birthing process. We're going through a massive birthing process now. So back to each day having its own spiral and being shown that on Facebook, if you're on there, and seeing your own personal journey, and remembering as well that sometimes the ego story that we have, the ego construct, the conditioned mindset of the culture that we live in, particularly in the West, is at odds with the spiritual path. So it's just really mastering that process as well. And it's knowing that often when we're not aligning with what we've been conditioned to believe is the way, the truth, the success story, the dream story, then we have a pain body activation. We get triggered, we feel scared, we feel panicky. Now, what I want to offer you is that is the prima materia for us to work with. This is what's coming up in the emotional mind, in the amygdala. This is what creates hell on earth for us. So it's making peace with whatever we're going through right now. And that isn't excusing any abusive behavior whatsoever. It's just like any process, we have to come to acceptance of what is before we can go anywhere else. And this is really, really key, especially with all addictions, all damaging ways of behavior that we do to ourselves. It's owning that. And you may have people in your life that are not owning that at the moment and making hell on earth for you. So remember, we can't do anything about changing other people, and unless they are a child or somebody who's very much in need as an adult, and I mean they cannot look after themselves because they have extreme mental health issues or they have learning disability, that type of thing. Anybody else who's going through a breakdown to breakthrough process, that's the way I look at it, having huge emotional challenge at the moment and behaving in a way that is often dangerous and damaging and abusive, it is key to really be able to step back and stop enabling that narcissistic, abusive way of being. And by all means, getting them support and help and ways of moving forward, but stepping back and putting ourselves first. Because if we are not in a good place, we cannot help anybody else at any point in the future. It's priority time is to put yourself first now. Get your home in order. Start to create heaven on earth for you, whatever that means. And you know what doesn't create heaven on earth for you. We're all experts on that by now. So start with that. The opposite of that is where we're heading for by letting go. And again, that's the key with the Mayan signatures, is the spectral day. If you're a spectral in particular, then you are all about letting go of what is no longer serving you as a human being. And this is so key. Okay, that is coming tomorrow. And again, is another portal day, and that is White Spectral Wizard. So again, we're in a 13-year process on the planet, which began on the 26th of July of White Wizard. It's a mastery teaching. It's the goddess Ixchel. It's all about letting the magic flow through us. And so in particular what's happening tomorrow around where we feel disempowered, where we feel we're blocking something, something's getting in the way. Tomorrow is a very good day to really pay attention to what's going on in our world and get your book of shadows ready to record it. This is so important about being a conscious Skywalker, is to have your code in your manual of yourself so that you know what's going on for you and you can start to work with it and change it. And so back to today. So there's a spiral. Because it's day 10 today, what is manifest? We can spiral that back 10 years ago. And so actually we began a process on 12/12 in 2010. This process today began of yellow star, being the star that we really are, the 13-year cycle, yellow magnetic star on that day. And so think back to 2010, where were you? Where were you living then? I was living up in the north of England, and I'd started visiting Glastonbury. So again, if you've watched any of my videos over the past couple of weeks, you'll see this is a reoccurring theme that is coming up. And so 2010 was a big shift year. And Yellow Star was the start of this 13-year cycle that we're on year 10 of now. Now, when you put your dream out there, I used to do a life club group at that time for women, and I used to travel to Glastonbury and come back with very different ways of looking at the world, because Glastonbury is the heart chakra, it's the third eye chakra, it has 52 ley lines going in. It has a very alternative lifestyle of a lot of people who live there, and that's what I liked about it. It wasn't very restrictive. You could talk about anything, and being able to do that was very freeing. You could explore different mindsets, your imagination, and really tune into different perspectives. So when I set out to create a dream back then, I had no idea of where it would lead to. And again, if you have followed any of my blog or you've seen my videos, my Facebook page, you'll know that my life has been amazing in the past couple of years, beyond my wildest dreams. I did not imagine that I would be going to America, to California, to Mexico, and meeting Ron, my partner, who we've been through an amazing journey, in particular this year. It's been very, very challenging on a lot of levels for us, and very heart-opening as well. And I'm so blessed to have him in my life. I never knew that that was going to happen. So when I was back doing the life coaching group, again, part of me already knew, part of me had moved on and knew that I was so used to doing 5-year plans. I was so used to working with the known, and still very much doing a coaching format on a lot of levels rather than a healing format, although intuitively I could pick up on key threads around what was needing to shift for that person. So now I'm in a very different space where I know that the universe brings us what we need, not necessarily what we want, and to follow that cosmic cookie trail, because that's where we're at on planet right now. So just to read you the energy today of when I'm making this video. So we've got Gemini at 23 degrees. And this is aqua or fire.net. and they have all the channeled work of inside degrees. Again, this is amazing stuff that you can look up in your own chart. I have Jupiter in Gemini at 25 degrees. So this is coming close. I'm going to be experiencing this today in a couple of hours or so. And again, the more that you know about your charts, the more you can be empowered and really start to work with how the cosmic codes are aspecting your codes in a way that creates heaven on earth for you through that awareness. Okay, so 23 degrees as I'm making this. A tunnel created by trees. Intervention by your own greater self within the patterns of the personal story. A vision is granted, a way is shown. Yet to follow it will mean many shatterings. A cosmic future realm, uncompromising and magnificent, vibrant and cocky. The power of the crown. The truth that takes you by surprise. So much is opening. All you need is to be there and ask. The expanded eye, aimed directly at you and drawing you through. Wow. So, an amazing day today to take stock of where we are, all of it. And so on the one hand, an exercise that we could be doing today, if you choose, is to focus on what is not working in your life with the intention of letting it go. Very, very important. The problem is the solution. And this is key for alchemy. So it's seeing everything in our circle is a part of where we've come in and our conscious coding at this time. So it's our family DNA. It's where our family line is in its cycle. And for those who are choosing to create the new dream that's been embodied, these people are saying, all the wounding stops with me now. So all these postings that you see on Facebook around that, it's taking that to a deeper level and actually doing the inner work. So actually healing the triggers. The triggers are the key. Wherever we get triggered by something, it's always, always, always revealing an old story. And once you really get into this, once you master this process, this gameplay, you become very aware of what this is, because it's all in there, it's all logged in your brain, in your energy, in your computer program, if you like, of yourself. It's all in there to be accessed as and when you're ready to do that. So it's really logging, right, this isn't working and I would like to change it. Okay. Now, part of this programming that we've been in for thousands of years is about hiding information so that we could do this process and go through it. And so often we can get stuck in being gaslighted. Check that out on narcissism, narcissistic threads. Google that. If you don't know about it, most of my clients are very aware about being gaslighted. Again, it's when other people project their wounding story and cannot actually see that that person that they're engaging with now is not the past story. So again, for many women at the moment, they are experiencing being in abusive relationship on some level where they are being projected on to, and being bullied, being treated disrespectfully, because the inner child of the person doing that with them is merely projecting all of their past story, where they haven't been mothered and nurtured in the way that they wanted, and haven't yet learned how to understand that it is now their responsibility as a human adult to heal that and grow up, become a mature human being who isn't acting out, who isn't doing drama, who has let go of any sort of violent communication in order to be free of it. Because it is never ever acceptable to be abusive to another human being, no matter what is going on. So we don't want to become the behaviour, we don't want to become the abuser. We want to heal our stuff, our story, and let go of it. And also let go of other people being abusive in our life. And so on all levels, once you start to really focus on this inner work and understand how we are all part of this together, how to understand how we enable abusive behaviour as well, and stop doing it even though we're afraid of the consequences. I mean, this is a difficult challenge. It's coming out of the comfort zone, and you know, that's what our ego knows, so it finds it very challenging. But this is really key at this time, is to start to really understand our own ways of coping and how they are serving us or how they are not serving us, and to stop doing them. That's it, you know, on one level. I know it's not easy to do, but that's the key. So the codes for the conscious dreamer are Red Skywalker, White Mirror, Blue Knight, and Yellow Star. Okay, so if you are one of those codes, then you are part of the conscious dreamer tribe. And in terms of the calendars, the Gregorian calendar, which begins on January the 1st every year, which again, Google that. How did that come into being and what does it mean? Because this comes from Pope Gregory. So just do your research on that and understand that, again, people often believe that things are just as they are, you know, that they don't seem to have a realization that they've been designed by human beings. Any calendars, any mind constructs have come from human beings. Okay, so that may sound really silly to say that, but again, I think a lot of people who are living unconsciously don't question things. They don't look at how things came into being. And again, in most education now, we don't, in the West, we don't look at past history. Education generally is around fitting in with a career or a job, or doesn't give a bigger picture awareness of actually what has happened in human evolution to create structures that we live in today. So when we start to look at these calendars, we see that they create a certain outcome. And the Gregorian calendar is not in alignment with natural cycles and is designed around certain number structures that, again, are out of balance with a human being who is healthy and aligning with nature and cycles. Remember, as a human being, we are a seed, we are a flower, we are formed from the earth. And so the more that we align with what is good for the earth, that is free from man-made corruptional code and overriding the divine, believing that mankind's mind knows more than the divine, which is madness, isn't it? You know, it's absolutely madness. But that's what most of the constructs are in the world today, believing that men know better than nature, okay, so, and can override it. And again, that's really what it's all about, isn't it? I will have my way, I will do this, I will make this, I will make whatever tools, I will use whatever I can to override natural systems. And, you know, this is why we are where we are and why the world is like it is today. So the Gregorian calendar, in terms of the Mayan signs, we began a cycle of white mirror. And that was back in 2017. So prior to that, we had a 13-year cycle of Red Skywalker, creating heaven on earth. And so again, it's all these little spirals within spirals. And I know, again, it's very complicated, but actually once you start to really work with this, it's wow, it's amazing, and it's really magical, and it can help make sense of things that are happening. So back in 2017, we started this new 13-year cycle. And so whatever was happening for you then in 2017, New Year's Day and that year is really key. And so you were seeing what was reflected back to you around your own personal inner conscious code or unconscious code combination. You were seeing what was out there as part of your inner holograph, okay? And so you're seeing yourself in this world, literally who was in it and what was happening for you back then, because this is really key. So again, look in your emails, look on your diary, look on your Facebook, any social media that you have a look and see what was happening for you back then. And again, record what was great, because you want to expand on that. And again, your heart knows that. Our heart knows what feels good. This is what it's all about. It's the feeling, what feels good. We've overridden this for so long in order to be out of balance as a human being. And we really need to pay attention to it now. Okay, so year 2, 2018, was blue lunar night. Okay, so we then saw the nightmare aspects, if you like, the new learning, where we needed to do emotional healing, where we needed to grow up to be mature. Okay, so that was really key. What were you doing in 2018 in January, and who was in your life then? And then 2019, so at the start of this year, which seems to have gone really, really quick, we were in yellow electric star. Okay, so being the star that we really are, and the alchemy, really coming into knowing who we are, what we're about. And so it's been a year of alchemy in terms of the Gregorian calendar. Yeah, so really working with that energy. And just to go through the planets, so white mirror is Neptune, and that's the delusions and illusions. Having let go of those, we can access source energy, deep esoterica. Blue night is Saturn. So again, understanding our Saturnian structures and really working with those to understand what our pattern is, what our code is, what we keep repeating, what we're here to master. And yellow electric star, the planet is Venus. So again, this is all about what we value, what we love, and coming into a mature space as a human being around that, rather than the child who just wants what it wants when it wants it. And most of the systems in the West, again, give us access to that. And we can now see that that clearly is not a good thing. Instant gratification. No, because that is just what the ego demands. So what are we going to be in this year, where we start not only a new year but a new decade, 2020? We are going to be in Red Self-Existing Skywalker. So that's how that connects to today. And that is a portal day. And it's coming up. Okay, so here it's coming up in 20 days' time. And that is day 4 of the white dog process. So again, seeing the structure in the family, in the ancestry, that's what white dog's all about. What's in your 10th house? What's in your midheaven? What's the heart's desire to heal? So on New Year's Day, in the Gregorian calendar, on January the 1st, we start with a portal. And the key is how to be a self-existing Skywalker, free, independent, interdependent, free of any codependent code. Codependent code is out of balance, is an ego coping mechanism, is a power struggle. So getting clear of that, getting clear of needing anything or anybody else on an unhealthy level in order to make us feel better about ourselves in a snapshot. And to be able to feel connected to source, grounded, know who we are, centered, is the key to being free. That way we make really good choices and we live from our heart, from our soul, and we are able to co-create with the universe and synchronize on an amazing, amazing level. And it does take a lot of work to do this. This is not a quick fix. This takes discipline, determination, and great courage to look at our own demons, at our own stories that have hurt us, in order to have that wisdom to go forward and create and live the new dream from within. So again, the card today, which I got yesterday as well, Realm Shift, and I'll read you the deeper definition of that in a moment. And also we have the 10 of Discs, which is wealth. And again, Eli, if you look up Eli Thoth reading, this is an amazing card, and he has an amazing website with so much information on the cards. It's amazing.